Before we start, I want to say this. If you're a beauty professional or service-based business owner who's doing all the right things, but still feels like your income depends on how much you physically show up and how many hours you can squeeze into your schedule, I built my new program for you. Limitless is for the woman who wants to earn more without adding more hours, who needs clearer strategy and the energy and identity shifts that actually move the needle in your business. It is a space where you're not doing this alone and where you can ask me questions anytime. I work super closely with you inside this container alongside a like-minded community of business owners who are serious about their growth as well, but also about life. So if you're ready to grow and want support doing it properly, book a call with me. The link is in the show notes for you. Now let's get into today's episode. Welcome to the Beauty Build podcast with me, Zara King. As a coach for beauty pros, it is my mission to help you earn more, work less, and create an unstoppable mindset. This is the show where we explore all of that. So whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting your beauty business, this podcast is for you. So sit back, relax, and join us on the journey. And for more, get yourself inside my private community, the Beauty Build on Facebook. Hello, you gorgeous human you, and welcome back to another episode. I am really excited to get into this one today. I feel like this is such an important conversation to have. So hello, if you're new here, I'm Zara King. I'm a business and mindset coach that loves talking about income and growing your income and earning more and working less and living free so that you do actually enjoy your life just as much as you enjoy your business, because I don't think there's anything worse than letting your business take over your life, becoming a slave to it, missing out on family dinners, missing out on school pickups for the kids, being on your phone constantly, you know, when you're supposed to be winding down of an evening with your friends or family or partner. I don't think there's anything worse than falling victim and slave to this beautiful monster that we've created called our business. And I speak from experience when I say this, because I've done it all. And there was a time where I thought that being busy and being engrossed in work and on a laptop in front of the kids and saying to them, "Mummy's busy, give me 2 minutes, go away, I'll be with you in a minute, 5 minutes please." I used to think it's okay. It's, you know, showing them that you can do everything and showing them that women can do things too, and that, you know, I'm a business owner and this is how it is. Now, do not get me wrong. There are going to be times where I sacrifice an evening, or I decide that I'm not going to be somewhere, or, you know, I make that choice where something else is happening and it kind of isn't perfectly easy because I do have to miss out on one thing. There is that time, and it's chosen in a way that feels aligned to the goals, the growth, the vision, the business, the life, everything. It's done in a way now that's all aligned, and it's a choice that I make. Whereas I feel like a lot of beauty professionals are being sucked into this narrative of work hard and you'll earn more, see more clients, you'll earn more, people pleasing, getting back to people at silly o'clock on your phone because everybody has access to us these days. And that actually isn't aligned to the end goal. And that means that you're building a business that actually isn't serving you as the person that you're supposed to be stepping into and the identity level that you're supposed to be growing into. So you've created this sort of monster for yourself. And that is not the fun stuff. That is not what I teach, because I don't agree that you need to work like that to earn more. I believe that the more fun I have, the more money I make. And I believe that at the core of me, I believe it at an identity level, that I can actually have fun and earn more money without having to add more hours of work into my week. And so today's episode really comes from that thought process of what were those kind of decisions that I made that changed that for me, that essentially changed my income without adding all of those extra hours, and seeing more and more and more clients, adding more and more to my plate just to increase the income that was coming my way. So if you're a beauty pro that believes that your income is only going to grow with additional hours and being able to work more, and I used to say it to myself as well, I'll work more when the kids go to school and therefore I'll earn more. Let me tell you, that belief is keeping you completely capped. And also it's making you probably a lot more busy than you need to be, because you're telling yourself a story that you need to be busy. You're telling yourself a story that you need to constantly be getting back to clients, fitting them in, adding more things, and you're not going to be growing from an aligned place, because none of us wanted that. Like, it's like, how do I know it's not aligned? I know it's not, because you wouldn't sit here and tell me in 5 to 10 years time that's how you want to be living your life. None of my clients sit and tell me I want to be on my phone all night, I want to be missing dinners, I want to be missing trips, I want to be working weekends and evenings, I want to be rushed off my feet. No one tells me that. So that's how I know it's not aligned. Not only have I lived it and experienced it, but I know how normal you are making this burnout and this sort of like internal frustration with, when I get there, when I get here, when I do this, then I'll be happy. I know how normal you're making that feel for yourself, because I've been there and done it, and I work with people that do it every day, that do it all the time. And the issue isn't the fact that you don't have enough time. It's not an issue that you're not as good as you should be at what you do. It's none of that. It is absolutely none of that. It's just reframing how you see your success coming to you and where you put your efforts. So this is such an important conversation to have, and it's just stemmed from me having this thought about that. And I think one of the first things I want to talk about is I kind of detached from the idea of having a fully booked diary, because I had to detach from the idea that I would only be paid what I wanted to be paid, or earn what I wanted to have to keep me at a certain lifestyle level. I had to detach from the idea that that was only going to come from having a fully booked back-to-back diary. When I was mobile, I used to be back-to-back. I did 4 years of mobile alongside my corporate career, and I used to work 9 to 5 and then come home and do, until 10, 11 o'clock at night sometimes. Or if it was a seasonal period, maybe later. Like, I ran myself into the ground. And I thought I was busy and that was good. But I wasn't profitable. The long and short of it is I probably wasn't. I had money, but I didn't rely on the income enough to care or to dive into the figures enough to know if the profit was actually going to be building a sustainable business. And then when I went into salon, I was back to back again and still working my corporate job. And I would come in and do the evenings, close the salon, wake up in the morning and be so tired for my job the next day. And so when you get into this pattern of being fully booked back to back, what suffers is the lifestyle suffers, because the habits have to shift, because you don't go to bed on time, because you want to wind down, have a little bit of me time. And then you're going again the next day, but you're running on very little sleep. And then again, the habits that you would normally think are very, very easy to maintain, i.e. getting outdoors, moving your body, drinking enough water, making healthy meals, they begin to slip, because you're running yourself into the ground, because you think that being booked and being busy and being back to back is dictating the income, because that's what we're taught. It's the type of thing that we are taught when we do beauty. The main thing is like, this is how you get clients. Go and get clients, get people talking about you, get referrals, get word of mouth, you will get clients. That is how you're taught to run the business. That's the long and short of it. Now, the flip here, and the decision that I made when I eventually decided that that wasn't good enough for me anymore, was that I would flip it into, well, the income is what I want to design. I was introduced to the fact that you could live a life by design when I did network marketing and a lot of personal development over the course of a few years. And so I thought, I can design the way I want my life to look, and then I fit my business around that and make it achieve those goals. I was on a call the other week talking about this and saying there is no point running a business if it's not designed to meet the goal that you want to hit, if it's not designed to reach the level of living that you want to get to, i.e. charging £35 for a treatment that takes an hour and a half. How many of those you have to squeeze into your day to get anywhere? And you don't need to necessarily reinvent the wheel and change your menu completely, but look at the business model, because what I do with my clients is we look at their menu, because that's the way they make money. That is your business model. That's what generates revenue, the service that you offer. And so if that's not geared up in a way that hits our goals, we have to revamp that. When we work together, we break that down and we make it work for your life and business goals. And that's the first decision I made. I stopped and thought, it has to be flipped. It has to be the other way around. So that's the shift. And that's the system I take people through. And the other thing is, that I want to talk about, is that so many of you will be underpricing. I did just touch on that. But you'll be underpricing because you're scared to lose the clients that you do currently have, because you will have built some form of business. The women in my world aren't just fresh out the gate. If you've just started listening to this, the place I suggest you begin is understanding your pricing. And if you've built a business where you've already gotten clients at a level of income that isn't enough, you're underpricing out of fear. And it isn't even logical, because, like I said, as a business owner, you have to be in profit. So you have to make sure the business model meets the business goal. You know, if there was no profit in a business, it would generally close. But because in this industry, a lot of you are self-employed, working from rented spaces or home, or some people do it alongside another job, this doesn't happen. You don't necessarily think, I'm just going to close because I'm not making profit. Like, you keep going and you keep going. But you have to charge based on those goals. And this comes into your self-concept, the way you see yourself and the way your identity is built. So the thought processes and the belief systems that live inside your subconscious mind. This is what this is built upon. And this is the decision that I took that changed this game for me. I realized that it was my time that I valued. And I realized that I needed to build a business where I could take time off and I could still survive. And so that's what we do. We look at the whole business model. We look at the pricing. We look at the position in the market. That is everything to do with how you see yourself as well. So that's another thing I did to help me do this. And another thing is I decided I just couldn't do it on my own. I was like, I cannot continue to do this. And maybe you're sitting there thinking like, well, I need to keep going and I can't invest in help. Well, let me tell you, it is more expensive for you to still try to keep going alone than it is to invest in help, because the help is going to close the timeline for you. That's what happens. But you can't keep trying to figure it out alone or relying on things like ChatGPT to tell you how to run your business. Because ChatGPT just wants to tell you what it thinks you want to hear. So most of it's inaccurate. And secondly, it just overwhelms. And it doesn't really help you focus on the next steps in your business at all. You can't rely on things like that. So my particular growth in my business, so when I left the salon when I had my little girl and I went home based, went back to work for another year in the corporate sales role. And then I decided I wouldn't go back after baby number 2 because they took £1 million off of me. If you don't know my story, I was an account manager. I was in sales for a long time, part of the furniture pretty much, very good at my job. Highly stressful though, let's be honest. I was turning over around 3 million. And when I went back, my boss decided that £1 million of those accounts would go to somebody else. And of course, I was fuming. I did go back for another year, and I always turn my adversity into assets anyway. So I just continued the way I always do, smashed it, and then I left when I had baby number 2. That's a very long story cut short if you don't know my story, from corporate into full-time beauty. But I eventually quit that job and decided I'm going to do the beauty business on its own, and that's it. And I needed to make it work for me, and this is what accelerated the growth, because I needed it to work. Like I say, going from not knowing how to get any money in the door as such on your own in business to hitting like 1,200 plus weeks on your own without a team around your kids' school hours, that's incredible growth. And you're like, wow. But it's because, again, I stopped trying to figure it all out alone. And the growth accelerated and the time scale closed, the gap closed. Because the support, it gives you your clarity quicker. You're the person that's helping you. When I help my clients, I'm not emotionally invested in their business. So I can give them that clarity straight away, and that helps them make faster decisions, better decisions, more informed decisions based on business, not based on feeling. And so when that happens and then they see the result from going, okay, brilliant, like I've got the clarity, I'm making this decision, this is what I'm focusing on, it builds on the confidence. Because it's rooted in this like strategy, it's rooted in all of the things that work, and then the results happen, and then the confidence grows, and this is the cycle. But it's so common for somebody to tell me, I can't go anywhere because I'm on my own and I don't have, the time, or I don't have the funds available to invest in something. That is a story you're telling yourself. And if you want to make it work in business, I'm not telling you to get yourself into a ridiculous amount of debt to do this, but I'm telling you, you can make it happen. There are ways around making this happen. And if it was something that you wanted to do enough, you would be planning towards making it happen. But again, that was a decision that I made to stop figuring it out on my own, because I knew it would be quicker if I did it with somebody else. And it was having that perspective. That was the biggest part of the whole shift. It was having that perspective and being able to see things in a different way. It was incredible. Literally incredible. So this is what you need to do. It's building this life and really seeing it like it's the income first. It's what it's going to give you first. It's building it with the vision first for the income, for the lifestyle. And then looking at the diary and going, well, that means I need X amount of clients. I've only got this capacity. And then we work through it that way, and we break it all down, and we put a growth plan in place for your business, but also alongside you as a person, because these kind of like moves that you need to make, yes, they're strategic, but they're going to come from a place of you needing to fully believe in what's possible for you and fully believe in the way you have to show up to become the person that you really truly want to be. And, we can keep trying to convince ourselves that we are in good energy. We are in you know, in a good mindset, or we can keep trying to convince ourselves of these like affirmations. But until you do the actual shifting work, the real deep stuff, you are just convincing yourself, and it's very surface level, and that can be why you're still on a hamster wheel. So hopefully this kind of chat, like honest, open, just a little bit about my experience of it and client experiences with it, hopefully it gives you like a different idea, a different perspective about how you look at your business and how you run your business. So obviously if it does, if this is the work that you want to do, this is what I do with beauty professionals who do want to earn more without more hours. And you can learn more all about that in the show notes. You can come into my DMs if you wish, because they are always open as well. You know what to do. But I really want you to be aware of the fact that if you haven't done this stuff already, now is a great time so that you can become the person that you need to be to not only earn more, but just live free and enjoy your business and enjoy your life. My business didn't feel like work at the end of it, or at its peak, should I say. It didn't feel like work because I enjoyed what I was doing and I loved every single client. You know, there was that mutual respect, and I loved everything that went on around my business, the events, the opportunities, the conversations. And it all came from these decisions that I'm talking about in this episode. The decisions that I made and having the right support in place, because I decided not to do it on my own, because I decided that I was going to, you know, stop taking the narrative that I had to be busy and booked back to back to make any money. I stopped that. The decision was, let's lead with the life that I want to create. The other decision was, I now value my time properly. I will not undercharge. I will look at my business like a business and we will break it down properly. And I did that with help, and I did it with accountability and support. Those are the decisions that, seriously, I bring it all together for you. It brings it all to this place of, now I fucking get it. Now I get to grow this business in alignment with my life, in alignment with the life I actually want, instead of it taking over. And it's how you win. It is how you win. So think about who you want to step into. What's the type of life that you really do want? And then start making the decisions now that support that, and get the support that you need. So I'll leave it there for you. Hopefully this has made sense and you've enjoyed it. If you have, please take a screenshot, pop it on your stories and tag me. All the details are in the description. If you want to have a look at the description for getting inside my world on a deeper level, then absolutely go ahead and do that. But for now, thank you, and I will see you on the next one. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed today's episode and gained valuable insights that will help you in your beauty business and life. If you did, please take a screenshot and tag me in your stories. If you've got any questions or comments, please feel free to reach out to me on any of my socials. The links are always in the descriptions. And don't forget to subscribe to the podcast and leave us a review. Your feedback helps us improve and bring you more and more great content. Until next time, keep building that business.